Hey guys, it's Tarkin coming at you with another game of Peaceful Minecraft. We're just gonna plant wheat. You're gonna be so impressed with the dedication that I have to wheat. We're here in the middle of the wheat field. I've been doing some off-camera wheat growing. It involves having this box open and walking away from my computer. But you see the magnificent expanse that we have all around us. The wheat field has grown. And now we're just going to farm some. This is what it's all about right here. And we'll just go until we get like a grip of seeds, because I've got some more. Like I said, we've been doing some off-camera wheat growing and moving things around. I've got several boxes of seeds and seed materials over on the other side. With Fortune 3 on a hoe, you get seeds really, really fast. Like there, we've got 5, 6, 8, basically 8 stacks of seeds once it's all said and done. So, like 3 or 4 times as many seeds as wheat. I don't know how much you normally get, but I feel like Fortune gives you about twice as many, maybe slightly more than twice as many. So absolutely always worth having Fortune 3 on it. Also, it doesn't diminish the durability, as I know I point out all the time, because I was very pleased that that was the case. Is shuffle not on? There we go. I'm not going to sit here and do the thing where I complain, but I wish it would remember that shuffle was on. But we're just gonna grab some more seeds, cut a couple of rows down. This is the best way to do it. You just go for an amount of time. I usually, because there's parts of even this central wheat field that never get farmed, that aren't irrigated, but I have like this whole quadrant that we're looking at. We farmed that pretty heavily. And then this side here, which I usually just do like the top and then some of these areas there. And then a third one I could have been farming this whole time while I was explaining how I normally would do it. But so I sometimes also do this whenever I realize that I've been looking around and breaking my laser wheat-oriented focus. But it's, as the meme says, it is honest work. And, it's among my favorite things I've done in video games, I have to say. I've done a lot of gaming to be proud of in my time, I've never had any world records or anything like that, but I've had a comical large amount of items before in a game, but I don't think anything is ever quite like this wheat field in my personal accomplishments. I'm quite proud of it. And of course it becomes more and more impressive all the time. And that's what it's all about, Hey, the functional slab. I jumped anyway. It just goes to show that even with functional slabs, see this slab, I did this slab before I knew how they worked. Okay, how long does it take to break it with seeds? Not too long. So that slab would have been placed covering it, but if you put it like so, alright, sorry. I was having issues with the audio again. Either that or that was a song, and in which case, I'm sure it is very fine in certain contexts, but I'll have to hunt it down and eliminate it from my collection. You know, for a person who has rather strong feelings about music, you think I would do better with curating what I have, but I mean, obviously you'd be wrong, so I don't know why you thought that. You should have used the evidence in front of you to see that I wasn't going to do that. After all, curating a music collection is fine, but it's not growing wheat, and that is what the heart and soul of this project is. We went slightly too far that time. You basically don't want to go more than 64 blocks. And that's, you know, for the simple reason of not having to move around, you know, the seeds in your inventory, but soon enough we'll be able to just run and plant new wheat rather than repetitive wheat. Now this is the very important place, right? This is where the original wheat was sown, but although it feels good to plant the wheat here again, it's not as amazing as pushing further out, as boldly expanding the wheat field, which is what we're going to do when we're done with this, because I have, like, you know, a lot of seeds. And we probably don't need to mend the hoe up, but we're already in the neighborhood, so we may as well. And, yeah, and that'll also give us... Wait, I'll need a boat. There's probably a boat somewhere here. If not, I'm gonna be very put out. Because I don't have my good boots. They may not even exist on this world. And I could be mining wheat this whole way. Could be growing wheat this whole way, but... Please say that I just left a boat, like, right over here. Normally I would leave a boat over here. Oh, no. I have not done this. We will agonizingly slowly run through the water. That's called swimming, right? We will run through the water on our... What's that word again? Feet? Yeah, that's the one. And no wood anywhere, of course not. Why would I ever have extra supplies anywhere? That's not me. This world is so, like, ridiculous. And I'm so far from the wheat field, this stream title is going to look like a lie. Fortunately, the description does say that I am sometimes going to mend tools using wheat. Did I leave my sword? Okay, well, then we're not going to hit the cows. Clearly, I am ill-prepared for this. And obviously, there are enough cows at the moment. But do I have my stuff here? If I have my sword... Nope, it's somewhere else. Well... Even though we've got like 1,100 cows, we'll get some more. It won't get too cluttered after all. And before long, we'll have all the orbs we need. It really is probably only going to take like 50 or 100 breeds. It usually doesn't take too many. Hey, Sid. You know, it's going. I'm glad to have made it through another work week. Didn't go as perfectly as it might have, but... Did the cows double from last time? I mean, not double. This is just like 1,260 cows, right? This is just a reasonable amount of cows. They'd get cram eventually. I think you'd be able to do like a lot more than this before they'd get to cram. Yeah, Might need to make it bigger if I wanted to double the amount of cows, because it's already like a little tricky to walk around sometimes, right? Hey, I'm level 15 now. Apparently, if they're pushed sufficiently, they can pop out. They probably need like the velocity, like they'll be coming up from the moat and then on top, and then get pushed by another one coming out. But you know, it just shows that with enough dedication, these cows can, all 1,300 of them, can really make a difference in their own lives. And we'll just block up these hay bales real quick and throw them in here. Make a boat. Leave the rest of the cherry wood here, and then we're just going to go. Yeah, you know, I agree the cows could maybe have a better life, but fortunately, like, one of my great qualities is hypocrisy, right? Sorry, selective application of morals. And I can simultaneously think that the villagers are people and not think that the cows are cows. Sid, you ask if I have plans for Thanksgiving? Yeah, going up to see family. It's a bit of a drive, but I'm not doing the driving because driving makes me nervous. Very nervous. But, yep, see some of my brothers and sisters and my parents, and maybe I will make like some cookies and fudge, but I might also do nothing because I frequently do nothing. I like to give people the absolute least. That's my life. What about you? Do you have plans for Thanksgiving? Yeah, it should be fine. I have a Nintendo Switch and I never play it unless like the power's out, and then it's always dead because I never have it charged. Or like when I'm in the car for some long trip, which only happens, you know, for holidays because I don't go places. But I have several games on the Switch, like whatever the Mario game is there, Galaxy, maybe. It's the one where you've got a hat and powers and you like ride around and stuff. Anyway, I've only played it like an hour and a half ever, but I had a lot of fun. And I love Mario games, but there's a lot of games on Switch I own that I haven't played, like Breath of the Wild, but I if I'm not like feeling a thing, it's hard for me to make myself do it. That's not a very precise feeling a thing. What am I? A young person? Uh like, you know, if I play something and I'm not like feeling incredibly engaged with it, especially if it's a title from like what I would call like a prestige series, especially to me, like something like Mario or Zelda has a cash hit that's like my childhood. Like I grew up and some of my very first happiest memories are playing Mario and Zelda. So like it it's a lot for a game to like to have to do that. And of course, like even if the game's amazing, if I'm not in the right mindset to be playing it, like, you know, like I can't enjoy myself, or I get, you know, frustrated like 30 minutes in at something silly, which has happened. But you know, but at least I still have the games, and I'm sure they're very good. But I was playing the Mario one, and I was just like, this is brilliant. And you know, doing that thing that I do all the time, where I play a game that's universally acclaimed, and then helpfully state that I think it's pretty good. Like, you know, with Minecraft. All in all, a good game. I'm for it. I think people should play it. But like I know why they started giving the Mario games names, but I can't keep track of them. I also stopped playing them at Super Mario 64, which, as you know, it has a number, but it's not truly numbered. There's Super Mario World, but it was easy to keep track of that one because, you know, it was the first one that didn't have a number. But I know there's Galaxy and Odyssey. Maybe Odyssey's the one I have? Anyway, and then there was like one that was about Sunshine, maybe? I didn't play any of those. I didn't have a GameCube or a Wii or any of that. 'Cause I'm an old person. Yeah, I have a Nintendo 64 now. I'm sure, yeah, I've mentioned that because like I play GoldenEye and stuff, but I don't own a copy of Super Mario 64 at the moment, which I want to do. But it's hilariously, although it was very, very well well received and a super high selling game, it's just still in really high demand because it holds up so well. Yeah. Well, you know, Sid, I don't know when the Wii came out off the top of my head, but I might have been in college already. Because so like the 64 happened, and then my next system was a Sega Dreamcast, which I can't get into too much because I'll get really sad talking about how much of my life I spent wanting the Dreamcast and then finally getting it, and then Sega abandoning the hardware. Anyway, I've already done the short version. We're not going to go too much into it. But yeah, and then after that was the era of the Xbox, basically, for my friends. And I didn't own one, but my best friend did, and then I eventually got one. And I was playing Halo at that time. Halo was like all me and my friends played, and then like Diablo 2 and World of Warcraft, and then I entered into like the World of Warcraft era of my gaming, and which sort of like was there in like Elder Scrolls 4, Oblivion, and those were like the only games I played for a couple of years, and this NCAA football game that I played like for like 1,000 hours or something on my Xbox. I did play a lot of that one. People often don't assume this because everyone's got their own ideas of how people are, but I used to be absolutely obsessed with American football, the sport. Also the band. I still absolutely love the band. If you don't know the band American Football, they are marvelous. They're not like obscure, but their first album called American Football came out in 2001 maybe. Don't let me lie to you, like 99, 2000, 2001 or something, and it was amazing. And then I believe they came out with another one several years ago. It's also called American Football. So yes, the band is hard to find based on the name, and so too is the album by the band. But American Football's huge song in the fans' hearts is called "Never Meant," and if you want to check that out, you'll be in for a treat of early 2000s emo before it got changed as a genre convention and it was much broader and stranger. The American Football is just really, really good. The song, you know, it's a little long for a song. You know, it wouldn't be a pop radio hit. It starts with this wonderful little drum fill thing, and then it kicks off, and the guitar is just like so buttery and smooth, and there's this counterplay with it, and lyrically it's really quite wonderful. I love American Football, but I don't watch American Football, the sport, anymore. But I was very, very much into it as a child. and a younger man too. Like I still followed it as a teenager and into my early 20s. But American football, the band, I have never given up, and I will never give them up. They're just so good. Oh man, I love them. I always figure that like one day I'm gonna go to an American football song on YouTube and it's gonna have like 100 million views, and I'll be like, what? And they'll be like, oh yeah, somebody put it in a meme. But you know, maybe that's already happened. I'm not gonna pretend to be an expert on like their current level of cultural fame. As far as current music goes, nobody asked. But I like the same stuff everybody else does, you know? I mean, I don't. I like some of it. The current act that I think is super good is Chapel Roan. I think she's just like super excellent. She did this Tiny Desk in like February of this year. NPR Tiny Desk, I don't know if you're familiar, but it's just the best. They bring people on and like their bands, and they do sort of like live sets with, you know, like live onboard sound there in like a little room, and she did a magnificent performance. And then I got her record, and I think it's front to back just like really, really good. And right after I saw it, her performance on NPR Tiny Desk, I was like telling everybody that I worked with, and basically everyone I knew, I'm like, you gotta listen to this Chapel Roan person. She's incredible. And then you know, she had sort of a meteoric rise this year, and it's not because I told people to listen to her. They were gonna do that anyway, but she's the new thing that I like. Yeah, there's a lot of new stuff that I don't like at all, but I try to check out some stuff. You know, you gotta try to stay current, because that's how, like, in spite of me being a very old person, you know, it keeps me young and hip and with it, you know. whenever I can figure out what's going on in the arts, because plenty of old people, you know, I'm just medium old, of course, but I think of myself as an old person because I work with people in high school, and they certainly make me feel very wise in spite of my, you know, emotional immaturity and general lack of wisdom. Like, at least like 5 or 6 people listened to her in front of me, basically. You know, they were supposed to be working, and then they just like pulled out their phones and like listened to it instead. And that was all my fault. So no, it had been quite some time since I found actually somebody like in the pop scene that I liked as much as I liked Chapel Roan. Probably like Born to Die era, Lana Del Rey, when that was going on, because like I still think Born to Die is like of the very highest quality, like just a supremely wonderful pop record. You will not find me saying one single bad thing about Born to Die. I think it is perfect. It's so good. It's got like, and the extended version, every single song on that is freaking awesome too. Like, but I don't think Rise and Fall of Western Princess is like that level of amazing, but it is still like absolutely great, and I hope she wins the Grammy. All right, enough of the music, and all of that came from American football. Yes, you know, that's just the beautiful maddened weave of my mind as I plant weed. I'm glad that I got to share my musical opinions with people. You know, I always thought that's what I would do. If anybody ever paid attention to me, I would just talk about stuff I liked. And I'm delighted to say that I am doing it. Like every time in my hardcore world that I fly over some mountain goats and then talk about mountain goat songs, like that's a promise that I made to myself a long time ago. I was like, man, you just have to do this. If any strangers are ever paying attention to you, even like 3 of them, you need to talk about how good the mountain goats are. This is important, you know, because plenty of people only want to talk about themselves. I'd be so obnoxious if I was like proper famous. I would just be going on TV shows talking about the mountain goats. Highly unlikely to ever happen. I mean, not me talking about the mountain goats. If I was there, I would absolutely talk about the mountain goats. And that's not why I'm not going to get invited either. I'm never going to be famous. It's not really an aspiration for me. I don't consider it a responsible aspiration for anybody. You know, not to get all Shakespeare's Julius Caesar about it, but often people that are ambitious are not so good. So did you say you feel like most people would be obnoxious if they became famous? Oh yeah, for sure. Well, because like being beloved, especially whenever like individually these people don't have the relationship with you, like it sort of it decouples the normal like human response that you have towards people saying nice things to you or whatever. You see it a lot, you know, where a person sort of loses themselves in the praise of others. Specifically with like fame in the arts too, because you know the discipline that you need to have to make it as an artist. Typically, sometimes like some wonky stuff happens, but usually, you know, like anyone who makes it as any sort of artist in the visual arts or musical or in literature, you know, like there are very few casual successes in art, just like there are very few casual chess champions. You know, like people have to try to make it work, but the same skill sets that make you a good artist may not, you know, prepare you well for fame. What I call like the talent show paradox. Like you know, not to club American Idol, but American Idol exists, and so you get what's functionally a talent show with voting format, but that's not how music works, right? Like that's not at all what keeps people going to concerts, buying records, doing word of mouth, you know, bumping Red Wine Supernova whenever they're closing their restaurant, and you know, just like belting out Pink Pony Club 14 times a day because it's stuck in my head. You can't get that because of a talent show. Like you have to have that genuine artistic connection there. But the same things that you know, that lead an artist towards being able to exhibit that ability often inhibit them from behaving what we would consider, you know, responsibly. And there's a lot of regrettable instances of that, none of which I'll mention by name or even allude to, because, you know, we don't need to club people while they're down, but we all know very, very many famous people who just sort of, you know, cracked under this strain. It's very sad. Because you have to think, you know, like, maybe they could have just made the same art, and then if we liked it a little bit less, maybe they would still be okay, you know? Like, to what degree are we responsible for our affection? Because individually, obviously not a single one of us is responsible for liking an artist too much, unless you're doing, like stuff that you would get locked up for. But that's not, normal artistic things. But, you get like 2 million people together, and then all of a sudden people don't know where their head is anymore. And it's very sad. But some people do great with fame. Some people were not very good at being artists, but they're wonderful at being famous. And there's a lot of room in the world for them too. But I hope some of the people that get famous this year talk about the mountain goats. I think that'd be fun. I wouldn't have to worry about being obnoxious if I was famous, because I'm already just incredibly obnoxious now. Perhaps I would find new ways to be annoying. God, I hope not. After all this time with being like the same kind of annoying person, it would be a little bit much for anyone in my personal life to have to absorb. They'd be like, wait, you could have been a different kind of jerk this whole time? I don't think people would like that. But again, I don't think I would change too much. I'm a specific sort of strange and unlikely to deviate from that. Very unlikely indeed. It's not like I'm just gonna wake up one day and say I don't want to plant wheat anymore. Although I might. Why do I not have shadows on? Do I not have shadows on? There appear to be a shadow underneath me. Shadows, blah, 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 blah. Entity shadows are on. I have distortion and field of view and glint stuff down because it annoyed me. We could go to Fabulous. Is this better, Shadows? I turned it down to Fancy because I was doing some off-camera wheat growing earlier, and so I was just AFK, and I didn't see the need to have the good graphics up. I actually might have had them down for some time now, but yes, I think I have shadows on. Oh, shaders. My bad. I've never done any of that stuff. So I guess that is why. Just because I never have. Yeah, coming up on, I guess, almost 6 months of playing Minecraft now, but I have not installed any mods. I know how to do it, I mean abstractly. I'm sure it's just as easy to use Minecraft mods as many of the other games I have modded over the years. Probably a lot easier, in fact. Back in my day, you had to read the documentation to mod games. Nah, I'm gonna quit doing the old man thing, I swear. Eventually. But seriously, you had to try pretty hard once. Sometimes. Shaders make your laptop get hot. It might, it would be interesting to see if it would tax my machine. I'm sure there are things you could do in Minecraft that would do it, like if there was some mod to, like make the render distance out like however far, then yeah, you could definitely do it. But this thing is an absolute beast though. But I guess it just never occurred to me to think, make Minecraft look any different than it does, you know? It looks like Minecraft. Yeah, I might have mentioned this the other day. I was playing this sort of like a survival mode on Total War Warhammer, and I had a setting on where the entities, once they died, the bodies just like stayed on the ground, which normally, you know, that doesn't matter. You're in a battle, and even if it's like a crazy big one with like a lot of stuff, there's only going to be, you know, like 10,000 or so things. But in this one, there must have been like 50 or 60 or 70,000 entities on the ground, and man, my computer started getting a little toasty. Not like proper hot, but like, you know, pretty hot. And I just could tell, like, from where I'm sitting, I was like, oh, the space heater's on. I need to change this setting. Yeah, I can see that if I start modding the game, I can just, you know, I can make vanilla unbearable. I think that's why people always act surprised when they hear that I play it. But, you know, I might look into it eventually. I'm much more interested in, like, some sort of overhaul type of thing than I am, like, visual changes. But I can see how visual changes would be very nice for you know, the viewer. Especially right here, where we're principally looking at shoots of wheat. But it is... well, it is just about my bedtime, and so it is time to fly up into the sky, and we will take a look at what we've grown today. You know, just a nice little, we just did mainly that little chunk there, and, you know, around here. Not any of that, that was the other day. But you see that we're still making nice progress, you know. Over here, we're... Can't quite see the mountain in the distance, but we're not too far away from it. It looks like 3 villagers have elected to make their morning coffee there. All over the place, they are just getting stuck. It's so obnoxious. But here on this side, I came over here a bit. I was like, we'll grow some of this, and then I just I went back over into the central field. Well, thank you, Sid. I'm glad you're impressed by the wheat. You know, I sometimes I even impress myself. That's so many golems. It's obnoxious how many there are. It'll be okay though. But we can just sit here and look over at the Mountain of Lights. It's a nice little time. But that'll do it for this one. I should be streaming some tomorrow, at least a little bit. I got some baking to do. Gonna make some peanut butter fudge and some of my chocolate chip cookies. But good times. So, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening to me talk about, you know, pop singers that I currently like. You know, I'm not just an indie rock guy. I also like pop music. Not all of it. In fact, not most of it, but some of it. But, Yeah, the band is American Football. The song is Never Meant. That's not the pop music. Why don't I just find it so that you won't be able... Here, I'll type just very loudly. This says official music video. Is it? 8.5 million views? My stars. That's wonderful. Well, we're not gonna do the official video one. We're gonna link this one instead. But anyway, there is that's Never Meant by American Football, and I just think they're amazing, and I hope you like it too if you elect to check it out. Just super awesome band. So thanks, and see you later, Sid. Good night, and if I catch you on one of these next streams, then I will see you then.